Thank you, Maggie. Thank you all for coming. A little bit of a surprise here. The announcement you've all been waiting for. We have found the Vance Fathead. So here it is. It's not the real one, but anyhow, since 1994, when the Crunch first came to town, we've tried to be innovative and creative. And back in 2009, 2008, when the NHL began staging outdoor games in cities like Boston and Chicago and Buffalo, we said, well, why not stage one in Syracuse? We may be smaller, but we can do it just as well. And in 2010, we put on the Mirabito Outdoor Classic at the State Fairgrounds on a dirt racetrack and set record crowds. And to this day, I believe, was still the top American League outdoor game ever put on. And now you've got the Carrier Dome, which has hosted some of the greatest college basketball, football, and lacrosse players ever. It has staged world-class events like the Rolling Stones and the Sugar Ray Leonard Championship fight, but never has it staged a pro hockey event until now. I'm very proud to announce that on November 22nd, the first ever professional hockey game will be played as part of the Frozen Dome Classic. It'll be a hockey extravaganza, a triple header, highlighted by the Syracuse Crunch facing the Utica Comets, a great college game between Oswego State and Utica College, and a fundraising law enforcement game between Utica and Syracuse. We plan on Friday to have a celebration of hockey in New York State, to have as many youth hockey players participate and enjoy the comforts of the Carrier Dome and ice hockey in the dome. I'd like to thank a number of people who helped make this happen. First, the County Executive, Joni Mahoney, who always thinks first what's best for her community, her constituents. Her deputy, Bill Fisher, who was instrumental in making this happen. The county ledge, led by the youngest chairman in history, Ryan McMahon, who I had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know, and was very gung-ho about this event. Appreciate the support. The SU Athletic Department, who really dove headfirst in helping make this happen. Dara Gross, Joe Giasante, Pete Sala, who runs his dome, and of course, Mary Kelly. Our partners in Tampa Bay, who really feel it's important for their players to play in big environments, big games. We've played at the Bell Center in Montreal. We've played at the Verizon Center in Washington. And now we get to play right here at home at the Carrier Dome. It may be the most famous venue we've ever played in. I want to thank my good friend Robert Esch, who has done a magnificent job revitalizing hockey in Utica this year. It's unbelievable what he's done to make that team as strong and relevant in the market as it's become. And also to Ed Levine, who is one of our partners, and his team at Galaxy Communications for being part of this event. So first I'd like to call up, representing the SU Athletic Department, Associate Director Joe Giasante.
Thanks very much, Howard. We're so thrilled to be able to host this game at the Carrier Dome, one of the iconic venues in all of college sports and pro sports and monster trucks and even figure skating in the past. And to have the Crunch have a spectacular game here in this building, I think, is one of the kinds of events we want to have in these buildings that allow us, in our facilities, that allow us to do things the community cares about. Certainly with 35,000 people here in the Dome for a college basketball game, those of you who are here understand what that vibe can be like. And we also think that having a hockey game that we can build up over the course of several months into this dome will just be a spectacular event for the community and also for the university. And we can't thank the county executive and her staff enough. Howard Dolgan and his group, and Ed Levine, who I've heard is also going to be added to the program in a pairs figure skating with Lisa Chilenza. This should be very entertaining. We're happy that you've been willing to do that. Spandex is required, which is not so good for you. We're thrilled, though, to have all of the folks that are here today to celebrate this incredible community event. On behalf of Dr. Darrell Gross, who couldn't be here today, I want to thank Pete Sala of our staff, who really worked extremely hard to put this together. Bringing ice in here, generators, transitioning the dome in very short order during football to basketball season and now an ice hockey game is a tremendous undertaking for Pete and his staff. So Pete, a tremendous job once again for everything you do, not only for SU Athletics, but for this community. And to Howard for being forward-thinking and aggressive, as you all know Howard is, to make sure that we would get there and get this game done, because I think we're all going to have a fantastic time. It'll be one of those things that we'll always remember about being here in the Dome. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming.
Now that we know we're going to have Ed Levine in spandex, I think the ticket prices just went up with a raise. But, those of you who have watched the NHL playoffs have seen some of the young stars you saw here in Syracuse. I mean, Dustin Tokarski, who played goal for us last year, was in the Tampa system, was launched into duty in Montreal when Carey Price went down, and made us all very proud. And watching the New York Rangers over the course of the playoffs, and you see Derek Brassard playing significant minutes, and you see Derek Dorsett, and you look back 8 years ago when those young players were just coming here to Syracuse and developing their talent, their grit, their determination, and learning how to play those games. So those players that you see at our rink and those players that you're going to watch on November 22nd, don't be surprised, in the near future you see them on NBC playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'd like now to introduce the chairman of the county ledge. I've already promoted you to the state ledge. I'm sure that's happening pretty soon. Ryan McMahon.
And thank you. And on behalf of the county legislature, my colleagues, the county executive, Joni Mahoney, her deputy, Bill Fisher is here today. We want to congratulate Howard, your organization, Syracuse University, for really putting on a special event in a special venue. Just standing here right now looking up, I can think of so many memories that I've had throughout my lifetime as a kid, as a young adult, and now as an adult. And we saw one of them with the Syracuse Duke game, the energy this past year. It's just tremendous to think of that there's never been a professional hockey game in this building, and what the possibilities are for the memories for all of our community going forward. And I also want to recognize the partnership with our Convention and Visitors Bureau. They're going to work very closely with Howard, the university, to really make this an event, to really showcase Central New York. And I say Central New York because it's not just Onondaga County, it's Oneida County and all the other regions around us, as really the capital of hockey in the United States for this weekend. And it's important that we do that and we do it right, so that we can go and market future events like this. And it's important that we bring people into Central New York to show what we have. For all of you who don't realize this, we run government on sales tax, and we run many of the things that people enjoy in our community, in our downtown, and our arts and cultural on room occupancy tax. So this is a great opportunity. It's a great investment, and I know it will be successful, just like everything that Howard has done with the Crunch so far. So thank you, everyone who's been a part of it, and we look forward to making this a great success so we can have events like this in the future.
When we were deciding on an opponent for this event, it really wasn't a difficult decision. About a year ago, I think, the Vancouver Canucks requested that they move their AHL affiliate to Utica, New York. And I can tell you, as a member of the board of governors in the AHL and a member of the executive committee, there were a lot of doubters. The city was too small, the economy was bad, the building was old. But Vancouver said they'd make it work. They had a strong management team there, and to give it a shot. And the board unanimously approved giving Utica that chance. And now, a season later, they are certainly one of the shining franchises in the American Hockey League. Without question, Robert Esch has done a tremendous job in not an easy market. He works it hard. He had a lot of doubters. And without question, Robert, you are my vote for the Executive of the Year in the American League. and you to be my nominee, because the games that we played in Utica, he's not going to make it easy, Coach. I'm not buttering off for that. The games we played in Utica, the crowd was enthusiastic. They were knowledgeable. And, as an opposing team, it was a great atmosphere to play in. And we know your team and we know your fans travel well. We expect they'll be traveling here to make some noise. They won't be the favorites here, but we'll welcome them to the Carrier Dome. And it's a pleasure to welcome a top quality guy who was a great goaltender back in the day in the National League, Robert Esch.
I thought we weren't supposed to like one another. I'm looking forward to, I know our whole staff is, I know the players are, Vancouver is, to play at such an iconic venue like the Carrier Dome. Also, I think it's an amazing opportunity to play against such a great competitor like the Syracuse Crunch, like Howard Dolgan. They mentioned earlier his forward thinking, and he's one of the best in the business, and it's an honor to follow in his footsteps. Again, I think, I played in one of these events back in 2009 in Russia at Red Square. It was 17 below. I'll never forget it. I didn't even want to stop one puck because everything hurt. But, being able to play inside and setting a record, I think, is something from a historic level for both franchises, for Utica and Syracuse. The synergy that's involved in bringing this together has been amazing. Howard obviously is a terrific man, and I'm just honored to be part of all of it. Thank you.
We like each other, Robert, huh? At least in the off season. Finally, I'd like to introduce the head coach. Also a hell of a player in his day. Spent 14 seasons in the National Hockey League as a top defenseman. Our head coach of the Crunch, Rob Zettler.
I think he stretched it a little bit when he said top defenseman in the NHL. But I love being part of new challenges. I love being the head coach of the Syracuse Crunch and what we can bring to the table here at the Carrier Dome. I think it's an unbelievable venue to have a hockey game in. I'd like to thank specifically Howard for pushing so hard to make this happen, specifically Jim Syracuse and his team for helping to make this happen and pushing so hard to make this happen, and then obviously the University of Syracuse for allowing us to come into their great venue and host a hockey game. I can tell you, I can promise you our players are excited about it. The staff is excited about it. I think it's an unbelievable venue, and I hope to see at least 25 to 30,000 people here next November. We can host a great hockey game. And if memory serves, our last game against Utica when we were down 5-1, Robert, you remember that one? You don't remember that one? All right. Well, hopefully we won't make it as exciting. We'll make it exciting, but we'll steal the 2 points and keep the 2 points at home. But thank you again. We're really looking forward to a great game next November, and looking forward to hosting a game here at the Dome. Thanks.
Well, if anybody's got any questions, and everyone who's spoken will be available for one-on-ones, but if there are questions specifically now, please ask, or as we break down, all the speakers will be available. Jim?
Where's the rink going to be situated?
I think Jim Syracuse, you probably can describe it best. Jim? Jim knows exactly where it's going to be.
You're looking at it right now, this way. We're going to be using the same configuration as the basketball, give or take a couple of feet once we lay, but this is the way that it's going to be laid out right now. The capacity will be in that mid-30,000s.
Jim, what's it going to take, like schedule-wise? Like how soon will you have to? What's the build out? How long does the ice have to sit before?
It's quite different than the outdoor game. If people remember then, we were given the fairgrounds on January 1st for a February 20th game. So we had a long time to build up. A lot of different challenges here, like talking with Pete Sala earlier. This is a laser level field, so it's going to be a much easier process. But we're going to be given access on a Monday morning as early as possible and hope to have ice Thursday night. So it'll be a quick turnaround. And then we're going to try to have as many youth teams, like Howard mentioned, on that Friday to help break in the ice and start going into the games that we'll have scheduled. But it'll be a week process in and out.
The building company's the same one used for the outdoor game?
Correct. Ice rink events. Same as the outdoor game.
And we'll have news ongoing as it develops, but we're planning on a fan festival in the part of the dome that's not being used for the game. So figure the other 50 yards we'll have, and that will, I guess, develop as we come up with more ideas. But it's going to be a full day of activities, and we're going to try to get as creative as we can. Jim, did we mention about ticketing and that
No, we didn't.
on sales and?
Well, we have the 5. You want me to run?
Yeah,
run
sure.
through it? Yep. Right
on
now.
timing too.
Yep, timing. We have 5 pre-sales going on right now, or within the next 24 hours. Syracuse University season ticket holders, Syracuse Crunch season ticket holders, Utica Comets season ticket holders, and then the 2 colleges, Oswego State and Utica College. Timing to be worked out. All of that will lead up into our on-sale date, which will be the 24th at 10 a.m. is when tickets will go on sale to the public.
And the prices.
Prices are going to be $20, $30, and $50, plus associated fees.
Small fees.
You've said many times you're going to shoot for that 28,000 or whatever the indoor North American pro record is, or U.S. pro record. Duke was, what, 30, 35. You really think standing here, 28 or more in that Crunch game?
I think, people question if we could do 10 for the outdoor game, and we did 21. So I think anything is possible. I think based on the turnout today, there's a lot of enthusiasm for the game. I really didn't realize, this is funny, it's actually the second event that I'll be involved in at the Carrier Dome, because I think it was 1997 was Tim Duncan's rookie year, and we promoted a Knick Spurs preseason game here, and I think we did about 21,000 people. But it wasn't until a few years ago that I didn't realize that the Dome never had a hockey event. And, this is still one of the iconic buildings in the country. It's gotten, had a number of great events. It's been featured on national TV so many times, specifically through the basketball program. So I think there's a lure for the arena, and I really believe that Syracuse is a big market, a big event market. People like supporting big events, and really that the community, like I said, for the outdoor game was no different. It's why can't we do it? Like, why can't they do it in Buffalo and Chicago and New York and Boston, and why can't we do it in Syracuse? We can do it just as well, and we've got the facility to do it in, and we've got a very educated sports consumer here. Well, Jim, you could probably answer both questions. I think we've discussed this probably close to 2 years.
Our first meeting, 3.5.
Maybe 3.5 years ago initially. That was before right after we did the outdoor game.
6 months after.
6 months after. But there'll be seating right on the floor as well.
Correct. The seating will be the same, unless we run into any surprises with the basketball. The seating will be the same as a basketball game. So what you see behind you, the risers, my understanding, talking with Pete Sal, they'll come right up to right behind the player benches. As it stands now, player benches will be on that side of the ice arena. And again, once we get in here and there might be some tweaks and changes and everything, but same exact seating.
A lot. Yeah.
Times 10
A lot with a few zeros after that. But we understand, we had a very fair deal with the university. We know that the university puts on first-class events. So we're going into this knowing what the risk is and what the reward could be. Much like the outdoor game. We're sure. We think the time is probably right. We did it 4 years ago. It'll be 5 years in February. So, and we know when we did the outdoor game, it's still a lot different than any team has done it since. They've done it in stadiums. It was a few of them did it as part of an NHL doubleheader. We built a rink on a dirt racetrack. we didn't have locker rooms. It was a bear to build, and people showed up.
But is this the only time that you'll ever have a pro hockey game in the Carrier Dome?
Not necessarily. Well, ask me that on November 23rd. Well, no. It's funny, after the outdoor game, Senator Schumer grabbed me and said, "We're doing it again next year." I'm like, "Senator, give me a break. Give me a few days at least." To the general public, it'll be June 24th. Again, we wanted to price it affordable. We believe we did. We wanted to have it in the basketball type venue for better sight lines. If we put it in the middle of the football court, we could have had, I guess, 20,000 more people, but it wouldn't be a good sight for fans. I'm sure all of you here have been to an SU basketball game. Our rink will be twice the size as the basketball court. It's going to be a great event, and we're going to rock and roll. We're going to do some crazy stuff. I promised Pete Sala we're not going to skydive the puck in like we did the outdoor game, knowing Pete, he could probably put an opening in the roof temporarily. If we could pull that off, Pete.
No, stop right now. I'm going over here.
Pete, that's the Today Show if we get that for sure.
Jimmy? Strosing?
Yes.
Season ticket holders, I'm curious how their seats in the Memorial might translate to, if they're real close, or more how they translate here. Will they be comparable? How do you make that transition?
Yeah, we have seats on hold in certain areas, both behind the rink and in, I don't remember the exact center ice section for our season ticket holders. So they're going to get the best of the best to choose. They get one per seat in their package, and then they'll also have an opportunity to purchase additional seats before they go on sale to the general public.
So they're not identical, comparable as what they might see.
And it's hard because it's a different layout. I mean, there's really, I guess, no way to do it, but they are getting the first
Top
and
seats.
best choice. Yeah, like Howard said, top.
Anybody else? Well, thank you so much. And again, everyone involved in the press event will be available for one-on-one. Thank you. I'm sure we'll be speaking quite often between now and November 22nd. And really appreciate great turnout, media, fans, the university. Thank you so much. Utica as well. Boiling in here.